It's easy to take a picture of a cluttered room and show you what disorganization looks like in a photo. It's not so easy to put into words a description of what disorganization looks like when it's especially an emotional experience. The feeling is different for everyone. Its impact, however, is even more difficult to portray. Words can't express enough how a person feels when overwhelmed by stress, discouraged, or conflicted caused by the look and feel of their environment, whether it's in their home or office. My name is Elizabeth Lulu Miranda. I've been organizing in Chicago for over 15 years. I'm helping on small businesses currently, but I have helped families in their homes, individuals and projects, organizing them and creating systems. In this podcast, I hope to be able to guide you. What I'll do is draw up a few quick scenarios of some common spaces in need of organizing or clearing out clutter. I will provide 3 steps you can take to get organized. And finally, what is easier to express is the effect it has on the mood or the feeling of well-being once your organization is in place, once your systems are in place, and when you remove all the excess. It feels like weight has been lifted, literally and emotionally. It's as if you regain control of your life again, getting clarity of mind and purpose in life, knowing your clear direction and the feeling of relief, replacing the feelings of distress. I hope in this podcast I'll be able to assist you in getting you started, especially to get you moving forward to a better sense of self. In this podcast, we call it Lean Into Your Obstacles. Don't be afraid of them, work with them, and then you really try to find and look for, and you'll find solutions to some of those daily business problems. And I'm Elizabeth Lulu, my nickname, Miranda. I own Mercury Organizing, and I help people in their homes and their offices. We declutter, or basically I'm helping people with their obstacles, helping them get through it by really removing some of those obstacles and identifying what they are first.
So I'm Tenisha, and my business is Carcierge. We are a car leasing business, so we lease cars to primarily Uber and Lyft drivers, but we'll rent our cars to anyone that needs to rent a car.
Hi, Tenisha. Glad to have you here. So today we're talking about obstacles, and so we talked about some in business and working environments. The younger people in those roles are getting a lot of work placed on them, and they're overwhelmed. We noticed these things when we were in the working force, and we're at the end of the years of our working force before we retire, but we worked in a time when we had our roles well defined. We knew what we had to do, we knew the expectations, and there was somewhat of a life balance, work balance, but it's still a struggle. And now the struggle is getting even more difficult, to the point where we've come to the conclusion that really vocalizing and setting our boundaries is the most important thing that we could do for ourselves. We see that in business, we see that personally. There's a new generation of people not communicating it, but also creating their own boundaries by not showing up, by not doing it. And then some are literally not explaining their boundaries and getting overwhelmed. You mentioned a couple examples. So what can you talk about right now in how you feel you've succeeded with setting boundaries? How did they work for you?
Well, it's important to be firm, not rude, but when something has been defined out for you and what you need to do, and someone keeps throwing more and more on your plate, and that isn't your scope or your focus, you need to let them know this is not going to be done effectively or efficiently because this isn't my area. This is my expertise. Let me focus on this, and you get the person, and you need to focus on that. And I say that in relation to what we were talking about, I've seen people that have staff designated to complete certain tasks, but one person is so good at everything, they throw all that stuff on the one person while the other people aren't actually doing the job that they're paid for. And this happens a lot. So if, say for example, you want to put Mary's job on me and Joe's job on me, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to fail at both of those tasks because that isn't my area of expertise. And now I have to put a lot of energy into handling this when I have a project in front of me already. That project needs to take priority. That's what I'm here for. I can learn things along the way. Of course, that's how you advance, right? That's how you move up. You have to do things along the way. But if your day starts at 9 a.m. and you're not done until 9 p.m., that's a problem. And then if you have a family, what happens with them? So people will quickly set those boundaries with their family over their job. They need the job. So it's easy to come home and say, well, I'm out working. So if I can't get home until 10 o'clock, then I just can't get home until 10 o'clock. If I can't attend every child function, then that's just it. Because I'm protecting and providing and doing everything that I'm supposed to do, we're really good to put that on our family, our spouses, and our children to deal with, but we won't put that on our employers. It's insubordination. And to me, you're being insubordinate to your spouse when you also agreed upon, a vows together on how you would take care of your household. So yeah, it's up to you as the employee. You got to be firm. I understand you don't want to lose your job, but be honest. And one of the things that's always worked for me, I've always been honest. What you see is what you get. When I've been interviewed, I've said things in interviews that, some people might not say. My thing is, we're going to be working together. You have to know who I am. You might not want to deal with me every day. So I think it's important to know who you are, and it's okay to want to please everybody, but you have to know when to stop and when someone is actually taking advantage of you. And you can clearly see that, especially in the workplace. You have your job, but you're doing somebody else's job because they don't do it as well. Okay, well, it's up to you to get rid of that person, isn't it? And bring somebody else in. It's like, I'll do it for now, but if you want me to keep doing it, you need to be working in my favor too, and not just let somebody just sit back and get a paycheck because they, for whatever reasons. I've never understood it. But yeah, I say be firm.
Yeah. I like that, and it really made spark an idea that even the employer themselves aren't doing themselves a service, where you were touching on that point, that if they're putting so much on one person, they may have a hidden agenda of they're trying to downsize the department. So that might be a clue that that's what's happening, and it doesn't mean that it's okay that that person saved their job, but they're going to end up losing that person who is so valuable to their company, instead of creating a culture of communication, honesty, and all the things that you need for people to feel invested.
Yep.
One thing I learned growing up from a family who had their own business was a sense of ownership when we worked at a business, and that's when you had people who really take pride in the work that they do, and they really wanted to give themselves the 100%, and the benefit to the employer was that they were a valuable employee. So I think for an employer to really recognize what they're doing in the short run in the long term is going to be more harmful to their company by trying to dump everything on a person. So that kind of obstacle is something that maybe a company encounters, or a growing company where a small business owner may not have many employees or any employees at all. We could shift to the thought that you're trying to do it yourself, and you're imposing on yourself all of these things that you just can't manage. A self-employed person can't strike the work life and home life balance, but you have to try in certain parts of your life at least to maybe delegate some of the tasks that you shouldn't have to be overwhelmed by. So if you're a self-employed person, a small business owner, or a company, that in the long run, overburdening yourself or the people in those roles in the department working for you will become a detriment to your company growth. And I think with everything said and done today, people are talking about money first. And I think it's coming to a point when now it's already realizing how many people are dissatisfied, unhealthy, not feeling motivated, not engaged and in their life or in the work life, that you don't have that sense of loyalty or the specialty, what they're good for. I think you're losing quality all in the long run.
I would say, can we circle back to when we were talking about business owners and self-employed people and what we do that's overwhelming. I think it's extremely important that even as a business owner, self-employed, you have some kind of structure. You set some kind of schedule for yourself. So maybe between 9 and 10, that's when you work on your emails. Whatever it is you need to do, take that time, work on the emails. Start setting some kind of schedules to your day, because that's how we get overwhelmed. All of a sudden, we're doing something, we think of something else we need to do. It's like, oh, I need to do that, and I need to do that. And it becomes, we're doing it to ourselves, and it makes sense. You know, we want to put our 100%. This is my business. This is my baby. But it is extremely important to realize, especially those of us that work the 9 to 5, we had structure once upon a time. We kind of knew in the morning what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my coffee and I'm going to go through my correspondence. You know, by 4 o'clock, you already have it in your head. All right, let me check my to-dos, make sure I got everything done. When we are working on our own, we kind of let our calendars dictate us. So my thing is, just tell me what's going on. I'm going to put it on my calendar. I'll show up because my calendar went off. But I'm not really looking at my calendar to even, can I fit you in that spot? Or, you know, I have something for me and I decided what I'm doing is less important. I'm going to go ahead and put this event on my calendar. So I learned certain things just to have structure. At this time, no matter what, you know, unless it's an emergency, no matter what, you sit down and you do this and you don't stray from that. And you'll start to put little mini maps in place to get things done.
I like that you mentioned that structure, and relating to organizing, the things that popped on my head, that when we follow our calendar and we put the things that we do, we use it, we follow it, we listen to it, you're trusting that you are where you need to be on that given day, and you don't have to worry about tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I've always talked about in my business and when I'm working with someone, that really have to use your calendar like your boss. And then when you have something that does pop up that is an emergency, or it's an opportunity to do something fun that you wouldn't have had that adventure if you were, you know, let's say you're self-employed and you're allowed to do that for yourself. You reschedule what you need to reschedule because you had that opportunity and you created that opportunity yourself. But also, it's seizing the moments too. Yes. I think that's really important to know. When you are organized, you're using your calendar, that you're really maximizing the best use of your time. Mm-hmm. And then seeing ways where you can develop new business, you can really apply yourself in different ways. So that's all I'm saying. The trusting part really lowers the anxiety too of, I should be doing something now. And so with the life-work balance, I should be doing something. Actually, no, I don't have to be doing anything because everything on my list was done. I kind of scheduled time for it. Yeah. Yes. And a lot of times, if you think about it, we have to start a project, but we can't do everything all at once anyway because we're waiting on somebody else to be part of it or to give us more information. Look at the way taxes are made. That's something that never changes. It's always in April. You have to be ready if you want to do it on time. And you have to include more people either in the bookkeeping part or the just keeping track of everything, hire a tax person. You have to, it takes time to pull it together unless you created the habit of doing it anyway. Either way, you have to take time to pull it together. You're not doing it all in one day. So those are the little tasks that you can put on your calendar so that you don't miss and skip that task.
Yeah, and especially with taxes, because we file
Right.
our LLCs or our business taxes have to be done a month or two before our personal taxes. So once again, you need to have that on your calendar. That structure. What we do at Carcierge is a few months in advance, actually. It's on my calendar to start pulling everything for our accountant and to make sure he has everything so I can get it done back, so I can get our taxes, my personal taxes, done in a timely fashion. So yeah, I'm about living with the calendar, but also knowing when it's okay to like manipulate or move around.
What we identify as an obstacle, we don't want to avoid it. We do want to communicate what we see and then have the communication with other people, the roles of the employer, the coworkers, if that's what you have, to come up with a solution to a life balance. I guess to recap, we really talked about the sense of feeling overwhelmed, whether you're working for other people or in your own business, by just trying to do too much and taking on too much, not creating boundaries for yourself or with the people that you work with. But talking in advance and setting up expectations is important. So planning your calendar is really important to know, look ahead, but then sticking to it, following the calendar, focusing, and that's really important, not getting sidetracked or distracted by all of the noise of our life, the media, social media, we were talking about that. So to recap, then really you'll get a lot accomplished with less anxiety by really staying focused as best as possible.